Wales to play. And if they can win that against one of their playoffs competitors, that would be absolutely massive for them. We are heading into game, and your way, I'm going to start off with a milky fun stat. How many games of Kaiser do you think we've had this split in the VCS?
3 or 4, I'd say. 3?
You are correct with 3. Who do you think played those games of Kaiser?
Artemis played 1?
Correct.
Puddin maybe? And probably
No.
Slows?
Not Slows. Shogun and Slader.
Oh,
However,
wow.
Slader had a KDA of 13 on the champion. Did lose. All 3 games of Kaiser have been losses. Shogun and Artemis with slightly less impressive KDAs. We'll see, though, whether Eddie can be the first Kaiser player this split to pick up a win.
That is quite a lot of competition if you think about the names there. Artemis, Shogun, and Slader. Those are the legendary 3, I'd say, over the last 3-4 years of VCS, the best ADCs in the league. So let's see if Eddie can actually put his name up there with the greats. Of course, he's more known for Zarya than his Kaiser, but being good at Zarya means you probably also understand how to counter the Zarya. And as I said earlier, Kaiser is kind of one of those champions that a lot of people like into this matchup.
Well, if you're going with that logic, then I think Eddie's lost because I'm pretty sure Harsmed knows how to counter Kennen, and it didn't quite work out for him in game 1.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. You shut me down, that is absolutely fair enough, because the logic was a little bit of a stretch, but still, just wanted to point out that I still love Eddie's Zarya, so I want to see more of that, please.
His Zarya last week against SBTC was very, very good, and arguably won game 2 for Team Secret. Maybe we'll still get a chance to see the Zarya this series, depending on how this game goes. The Treasure Line comes in from wow, so much damage, as Taki goes in once again, ignited. Taki forced to flash away, and it is a trade of summoners, but Taki using both his sums, and Zhuhao just using one.
Something is very off with Taki today, as Guri finds Qiang, and Qiang is in trouble. He probably has to flash here.
Does have a flash available. The overload won't land, but now Artifact is making his way over. The Empowered Shock Blast comes through.
Greedy.
And Shang just holds on to his flash, and Saigon Buffalo hold on to Shang's life.
Oh, come on, that was so obvious. Of course you can't flash the enemy's flash. It's so hard to do. You kind of have to anticipate that. Very greedy to hold on to his flash. A little bit of that might be the first real rookie thing we have seen about Qiang, because
I don't know what's going on in the top lane. This is why you take Ignite in the top lane, folks. Very close between Harsmed and Kratos. I do want to go back to that mid lane play. I agree. I will start off with that I agree Shang should have flashed, but he got 2 flashes for it. Now Froggy doesn't have a flash available, very susceptible to a gank, possible kills for Artifact.
By the way, I am pretty sure people told me it's pronounced Qiang, so with a key instead of a G. Yeah. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to remember I seem to remember people telling us in Discord that his name was pronounced Qiang. If you disagree...
I mean, I've also seen people in Discord telling me that color is spelt with O instead of OU, but...
Okay, yeah, I mean, that is more... Yeah, that is more forgivable, though it does look ugly, I agree. I do much prefer the British spelling. But yeah, so if you know anything about the pronunciation of his name, if you disagree with Qiang, or you want us you can tell us how to pronounce his name correctly, then please go ahead. But yeah, I'm going to go with the information I got through some of our contacts in Vietnam that told me he's pronounced with a K instead of a ch sound. So let's go with that. But we don't actually have a replay for the first play, which is a little unfortunate. I wanted to examine that movement again. He is on the back foot now, and probably just is consigned to farming in the early game on this Maokai for the time being.
And I guess this time, Qiang does not have a huge CS lead over his jungle opponent. Although this time he's not playing against BJ, it is Guri back in for Saigon Buffalo, who has been playing for Saigon Buffalo for the majority of their games this split.
Much slower early game compared to game 1, which is more what we expect from Saigon Buffalo especially. Last year they really transitioned over to this more conservative farming kind of style from their explosive selves from 2021. They try to adapt to more of a consistent laning, like safe laning style into team fights, which takes away a little bit of the hype of the team and some of their strength in the early game that we saw in action in game number 1, but of course makes them more consistent. So if you can get through the early game and win team fights, then you're kind of okay, that's a good engage. Eddie has to flash.
Eddie forced to flash away as just seeing Guri just having a little look towards the bottom lane, not able to find anything particularly great. So it's just a flash forced out of Eddie as both Zhu Hao has his ignite up. Taki though did use his ignite though for that play.
What do you think about cleanse on Eddie in this game? I always feel a little weird about cleanse into Rakan. As we saw there in the trade, of course, cleanse doesn't really do much against the grand entrance trades because it can't cleanse the knockup. So I feel like heal just makes you so much stronger in the 2v2. Of course, cleanse is a better late game summon as well, right? Heal never gets the same value, but especially in this contested early game and these 2v2s against Shogun and Taki, I feel like I would have preferred the heal just for better combat ability.
Maybe it's a case of the Team Secret bot lane duo saying, look, we probably don't win the 2v2s against Zyra Khan as it is a strong duo, so we're just going to sit back and say we don't want any trade, so don't even need the heal as a result and just take the safety that cleanse gives, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. I just feel like it might not have been the best decision, especially if you consider what he wants to do in teamfights. This is a very aggressive outlook for team fighting for Eddie, right? On the Kai'Sa, he wants to follow his K'Sante into the back line, into wherever the K'Sante goes, and over there you probably want to deal with a little bit more HP to work with, maybe even heal Kratos or Kiang, whoever you're with. So I still feel like the heal could have been a huge asset for the team fights, but of course the cleanse into something like Guri stun, into Hosmid stun, into Froggy root is also a huge asset to have. So my eyes are on Eddie for sure, because of course Kai'Sa 0% win rate so far. There have been reasons as to why she has been so unsuccessful, and most teams nowadays are so much better at front to back, and Kai'Sa does not really shine in her current form compared to some of the other ADCs in pure front to back team fighting.
I guess then the plan is for Team Secret, which we kind of mentioned. We'll see exactly how it does play out, because games never play out exactly as how we predict and analyze in a drafting phase, but Team Secret do have this very good backline engage and won't be looking for a standard front-to-back team fight. Realm Warp, though, coming into the bottom lane. We are looking to party. Pop goes Eddie. And let's be honest, there's nothing that Zhu Hao can do here by himself. A beautifully, beautifully executed play by Saigon Buffalo.
Yeah, absolutely crisp play from Saigon Buffalo. Flash blown from Eddie and the 2v2 engage, and they punish on the other side. Of course, this leaves Hasmut a bit exposed, and he dies to the gank. He shouldn't die there. He knows all the attention of his team is on bot lane, so he should disengage from his top lane. But still, it's a very well executed Ryze ultimate with Gragas in tow. And the kills go over to those two, so everyone gets a lot of gold out of this, because Shogun, of course, gets to mine some gold from the plates. Really nicely done from Saigon Buffalo. And in game 1, remember, they did a bot lane dive as well. So now 2 games in a row where they have these early executions on bot dives through Froggy's roam. So Froggy back in his roaming form, it seems, today.
And Ryze, probably an easier champion to roam on than the Ahri. And unlike game 1, Saigon Buffalo actually with a much cleaner dive than whatever the shambles that happened in game 1. I did want to see what happened as well to Hasmed, because he was under his tower, so not too much that he could do here.
Yeah, uses his ultimate very early and just doesn't get to play the video game. Unfortunate there. Just perma-CC'd, not even able to flash anywhere because of the multiple CCs and multiple knockbacks from both sides there. Very nicely coordinated. Actually don't want to flame Hasmed too much for that, because he tried to play it as safely as possible. Didn't see the ultimate from Kiang coming, so in the end just fell to nicely executed dive, and good plays from both teams. Always what we want to see. No fumbles, and instead just back and forth with the aggressive plays on either side of the map.
Now we're going to have a small period of a break where we just wait for an objective to come up. Next objective in just under 2 minutes being the Ocean Drake, and it is currently Saigon Buffalo who have priority over that. The Kraken Slayer being built by Shogun, way ahead of Eddie right now. 10 CS up, and a couple of assists as well for some extra
That's a
goals.
super fascinating buy, because we never see that on Zarya. The Zarya almost exclusively goes Gale Force. I barely ever see anything else on Zarya because it's such a good item to reposition your feathers and chase down for kills with execution damage and so on. So my understanding of this Kraken Slayer here is probably he just wants to spike for laning 2v2s and maybe even 1v1s, where Kraken Slayer will give him that little bit of extra oomph, especially if he hits Zhu Hao with the true damage, of course. So it's an interesting buy. It gives him more stats, but makes him more vulnerable in terms of positioning into this dive composition. Not something I would have thought he would like to do. You want to reposition as much as possible into the divers of TS. But first of all, the dodge from Taki!
Zhu Hao somehow misses the dredge line. That could be absolutely catastrophic for Team Secret. Flashing away is Kiang, but he's not going to get out to safety. Froggy picks up his 3rd kill of the game. And Zhu Hao now on the run as Artifact might get locked down. Flashes under his tower, and Saigon Buffalo will just have to be content with a single kill.
Okay, I'm waiting for the replay because I'm calling dodge, not miss. I think Taki had the most insane reaction to that hook there with the sidestep, but let's wait for the replay to examine that one again, as Shogun, with the item buy, with the super aggressive Kraken Slayer early, gets to push his wave permanently. Now will profit with more platings and first tower as well. I really like that sneaky auto attack from Shogun there, because if he doesn't if he doesn't get the plating himself, he will share plating gold with Guri for the last plating there. Really nice sneaky auto attack to get that plating for himself, and then also 500 extra gold from the first tower. So he's very far accelerated, and Saigon Buffalo off to a blasting start with 3k gold lead.
A really good start for Saigon Buffalo. I hope we do get a replay of that, but we've been seeing some, let's call them slightly suspect Nautilus hooks from Zhu Hao in this series and from Ron OP. And Ron OP is one of, I feel like we view as one of the best Nautilus players in the league alongside Taki.
I want to see the replay again because I think Taki sidestepped that one, but apparently we don't get to replay the fight because so much is happening on all the lanes. Second dragon already over to Saigon Buffalo, and yet again it's a mountain dragon. Oh, Mountain Soul, I should say. So, a lot of hidden tankiness, especially in champs like the Rice, who naturally builds a lot of HP. So if you get a little bit more armor with with 2 Mountain Drags, suddenly you're almost a tank. So this could really go a long way to make Froggy almost invincible in the late game.
And he's already very strong. 3-0, 219 stacks on the tier. We'll be looking for that Seraph's Embrace or Archangel Staff, which will evolve into the Seraph's. Rift Herald already used in the bottom lane. Next Rift Herald will be up in a couple of minutes. Simon Saigon Buffalo will be eager to continue to extend their gold lead.
Yeah. I just saw something pointed out in chat. Thank you very much, Marby. This is gonna be another Demonic Embrace Maokai, which is very confusing to me because the reason Maokai fell out of favor initially were nerfs to his AP build. And then people transitioned Maokai into a tank support style of champion, especially people like Tarzan over in the LPL, and found a lot of success with that style, where he builds something like even Moonstone I've seen, and then Mandate and stuff like that, so helping out the other people on his team, and you go tanky in terms of runes with the Aftershock and so on. So now we have that in terms of rune setup with Aftershock, but he still goes for the AP build, so it's a little confusing in terms of where he wants to go, and his identity is a little unclear, because usually in the heydays of AP Maokai, you went with the Red Smite item with extra damage, with First Strike for extra damage and extra gold from the poke as well. So this is a little bit of a mixed Maokai, and I'm not entirely sure if mixed Maokai is the answer in this game.
2 things that I want to bring up. I'm going to start off with the positive. I want to look at Saigon Buffalo because this feels like what Saigon Buffalo have been lacking this split. When we think about why Saigon Buffalo have been struggling, not performing to the same highs that we saw in 2022, I feel like a lot of it comes down, not because he's been playing badly, but Froggy not really being able to be unlocked on the map. In this series, even in game 1, we saw Froggy really getting around the map, and here in game 2, it's been really, really successful for him and Saigon Buffalo.
Yeah, that's fair, and I think Froggy has always been the engine of the team, and one of the most crucial members, not the main carry, absolutely not the main carry in team fights. That has always been Asmid and Shogun, sometimes even BJ, but Froggy is really the best playmaker on the team, I'd argue, with some of the absolutely insane flanks he has pulled off on Irelia, on Yona, and all his AP champions as well. Silas comes to mind, Rice in this game. So I really think Saigon Buffalo thrives in the early and mid game if Froggy plays well, and if Froggy has control of his lane and is able and enabled to roam and impact the side lanes.
And the other thing I want to bring up is going over to the side of Team Secret. I guess where Saigon Buffalo have been very good, Team Secret have struggled a bit. This is the game where Kiang and Artifact haven't been able to generate that kind of a lead, and it leads me on to ask, how do Team Secret get back into this game? Because they find themselves nearly 4k down. They're going to have a think about contesting over the Rift Herald. Teleports are coming in. Artifact is making his way over. Kratos is low. And the Nature's Grasp has been used. Forces Hazmed out of the river, but the Rift Herald now secured by the side of Saigon Buffalo, and Team Secret are left with nowhere to go. Have to be careful. Kiang getting caught out. Realm Orb coming through. No one in the Realm Orb. Kiang, though, surely will die. The shield is big. The Ignite, though, ticks down. Taki gets the kill. Kratos very well timing his W so that he doesn't get knocked out by the explosive cast.
Yeah, it all looks a little bit desperate from Team Secret, scattered across the top side of the map, but they weren't really ready to contest, but then again, they didn't really go for anything on the other side of the map either, so the worst of both worlds, you could argue, where you just look at the enemy team taking the objective in front of you, and then they still are too close and get engaged on by Saigon Buffalo, so it's some of that which we hate to see when teams are too inactive to make a call, and then still get punished for the non-call they made. That's exactly what happened here. I'm not sure about Kiang's ultimate. They were super scared about the teleport, so they directed the ultimate towards the one lonely Hazmed on the side. And Kiang tries his damnness to get out of here, but it's just not enough. And the game is really slipping out of the control of Team Secret. At this point, you could argue that Saigon Buffaloes should be the ones to win right now. But let's see if they can cleanly push it home, because that has been one of the struggles for Saigon Buffalo too. They should have beaten Cerberus earlier this week, and then they threw away a huge gold lead into the better scaling composition of Cerberus in game number 3 and lost that crucial series earlier. So Saigon Buffalo with a little bit of baggage, you could argue, from earlier this week. They need to overcome their demons.
You'd think how close the standings would be if Saigon Buffalo had beaten Cerberus. Cerberus would now be 6 wins and 3 losses in the standings. Saigon Buffalo would be 4-4, possibly going on to 5-4. Just, well, it tie them with Team Wells and SBTC for 3rd and just 1 series behind Cerberus in 2nd. But that is not how things have panned out here in week 5. And Team Secret might be taking us, or I say Team Secret might be taking us, Saigon Buffalo might be taking us to a game 3.
Yeah, let's hope so. We want to see a competitive series. This is so important for both of these teams. Their playoffs lives might depend on this series when it comes to it, and especially for Saigon Buffalo. It's super important for Secret too, but it might be even more important for Saigon Buffalo because, of course, they lost the first series to Secret, so an 0-2 head-to-head is looming on the horizon, added onto a 3-6 series score. That would be their score if they lost this game or the series in the next game. So they really have to rally and get themselves together. It's Guri back in, so the starting lineup we expected to see, and probably the better jungler out of the two right now, because BJ had a little bit of a confusing performance. He wasn't inting, he wasn't running it down, but he looked a little bit out of sorts, I'd say, in the first game. So it's good to see Guri on his main champion, the Gragas, once again having a decent performance, actually this time outperforming Kiang. I think this is the first game where Kiang is on the back foot in terms of jungling.
Yes, I do agree on that, as Froggy used the Realm Warp just to try to throw off Artifact, and Artifact having none of it, but now Guri is making his way over. Explosive Cask delivers Artifact into Froggy's waiting arms, although Guri will take the killers in the bottom lane. Team Secret are looking for an aggressive play of their own. Hazmed pulled out of the tower. Is there enough damage, though? I don't think there is. Hazmed is going to get the kill onto Kiang, and Kratos surely won't find a kill. Hazmed flashing out of the Intofo strikes. and Harsmed picks up one for nothing.
Harsmed do something more here. Kratos is going to lose his ultimate form. Harsmed does have decent sustain with the Ocean Dragon taking him up. Slowly but surely, this could be a little bit of a spicy 1-1 down in the bot lane. No, Harsmed seems to be playing it safe this time around. He got the solo kill already, so everything is coming up Saigon Buffalo.
Kiang now 0-4. Kratos, the only member of Team Secret. Oh dear. It is really not going well for Shu, how it's said.
Yeah, look at this again. Kiang, he's so squishy. Even with the Aftershock, he just is not a very tanky Maokai with the first item AP build. And Kratos doesn't really get to deal all that much damage, as Harsmed is very smartly dodging around his huge Tofu strikes, or the even stronger version of that when he goes all out. So just well played from Harsmed and nicely defended into the dive. That was almost a desperation dive. Look at Kiang, 0-4 on this not so great Maokai build. He's falling further and further behind just by going this route, and he, once again, this time he is the jungler who is just a glorified engaged support in this game.
Saigon Buffalo with a huge lead, and you'd have to think that they're going to bring this game home. We've seen Team Secret on the opposite end of something like this back when they lost to SBTC in the first round robin. They had a huge lead and it all ended up going south, so maybe Team Secret could look for a play similar to that, but 6k goal down, things are starting to look grim as Saigon Buffalo gained control over the topside river and look towards a Baron Nashor.
Here we have another engage. Nope. This time Froggy doesn't pull the trigger.
Froggy's been using a lot of those realm orbs where he's not actually inside the ult, and Team Secret now don't really know what to do. They've got the outer tower, they've got Saigon Buffalo between them and Saigon's own base. But in the end, Saigon Buffalo are just going to head towards the Baron itself. And Team Secret won't push any further in the mid lane, although Eddie and Juhao have made their way back to pushing, to the pushing plan.
The timings are getting close for the dragon spawning in 40 seconds. People need to make their recalls actually work out, and Team Secret just barely gets out to recall and buy some items to stock up for the all-important soul fight. They can't afford to lose this one. Froggy's already super strong. One very, very tiny hope there from Team Secret is Froggy's not level 16 yet, so the biggest spike on his Q damage from 70% to 100% extra damage is not quite acquired, so Froggy not on the highest DPS that would be possible at this stage. Now, I'm not sure how far away he is from level 16. That could be a big power spike for the super tanky Rice, but even then, Saigon Buffalo is in a better position. They are first at the dragon, but Team Secret actually able to walk down the river, and here it comes. Look at Harsmed, he wants the flank.
He's on this flank angle. If he can find his way onto Eddie, it could be big. And Team Secret, even if they find a great fight position, do they have the goal? Do they have the damage to really be able to contest? The 6k goal behind. Kratos is on the other side of the fight. Slowly made his way into edgeline. Well flashed away by... I'm actually not sure who that was. I think it was Shu Hao. And here comes the Nature's Cross. Team Secret pushing forward, looking for the potential play. They're going to look towards Froggy. Froggy, though, goes golden out of a stasis, knocked up by the depth of charge. Big engage, though, coming through from Taki. Is it big enough? Zhu Hao is low, has his shield.
What is happening?
Shogun will be able to find a kill, and now Team Secret are on the back of 4 Artifact. Run down, and Saigon Buffalo will find themselves 3 kills for 1.
Very confusing fight, but Saigon Buffalo walk away the victors and the ones with the soul. This was the last-ditch effort for Team Secret in this game. They're now too far behind to really have a fighting chance. They're not going to explode immediately. It's probably going to be a slow burn, but I don't really see Team Secret winning any team fights after this one, especially looking at how optimally it started with Froggy being caught out, immediately eliminated from the fight. He wasn't even level 16, as I said earlier, but this time it's Shogun who's free-firing, and on the other side, Harsmed as well, frontlining for his team, landing so many auto attacks and zoning away all the carries on the other side. Eddie doesn't get to play the game. This composition was not supposed to dive back or to kite back from Secret. They want to dive in, but they're too far behind to make that happen, and this leaves either Shogun or Froggy too exposed.
Sorry, I was going to say, now it's even harder for Team Secret to dive onto Saigon Buffalo because they've got to dive onto a Mountain Soul as well. It's going to be so much more difficult to be able to burn anyone from Saigon Buffalo down, and they used so much to try to get the kill onto Froggy that once they had done that, I feel like they just didn't have that much left to deal with the rest of Saigon Buffalo, deal with a rather strong Shogun and Guri.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And even Hasmet, looking at his itemization, Hasmet is not going the tank route either. He deals a considerable amount of damage the longer the fight goes, of course, with all the hidden stats of Jax as well. He gets Sheen procs all the time, he gets his reduced cooldowns, quite high AD on this build too, and then all the attack speed from his passive. Ult damage is a lot of DPS too, so this Jax is actually one of the main carries of the team too.
This time the Realm Warp, nobody in it again from Froggy.
I love these.
We talk about glass half full, glass half empty. How about Realm Warp's fully empty from the side of Saigon Buffalo? Baron started by SGB, and I don't think Team Secret can really contest this. Baron just gets burnt down so quickly. Artifact trying to, pull back some gold in some way by split pushing in the bottom lane, but now with a Baron buff for Saigon Buffalo, you have to think that Team Secret's base is going to be cracked wide open.
And considering the enemy Mountain Soul already, this Jace loses so much effectiveness. So he just collected 700 gold, a nice big paycheck, but it's not really gonna swing anything in this game, especially as Saigon Buffalo is immediately able to push down mid lane. And they probably can't get the tower in this go. Maybe they can. Yeah, actually, Shogun is just stepping up very aggressively, but what has Hasmet done over here?
Killer Instinct comes through, looking for the kill onto Harsmith, flashing away. Harsmith still alive. Eddie charging forward, gets the shutdown, but there's nowhere left for Eddie to go. He's been collapsed on, he's still alive. Eddie is still alive in the fight. Taki will be focused down. Guri's making his way in, as is Shogun. Team Secret still have all members alive, but Artifact flashes over the wall, gets killed, burnt down. Eddie falls as well. Somehow I think Guri was able to get on top of him. Juhao takes the dredge line out to safety as Kratos just pulls the Gragas under tower. Guri will surely fall. Really good dredge line. Taki will now die, but Kratos goes too far forward, and Shogun says thank you very much for the kill.
That should be all she wrote. Froggy so unbelievably tanky. How was he able to stay alive in the face of 3 opponents? He's just a tank Rice at this point, but he doesn't even have to build tank items. It's incredible how strong this Rice can get with 2 Mountain Drakes under his belt, plus Mountain Soul, and all the sustain, of course, from the fully stacked Rod of Ages. And SGB strike back. This should not quite be the game yet, because it's a little too early.
Available for Artifact. Can Secret maybe find a way to catch off this SGB stragglers?
But I don't think they really have a winning play. This was a really nice collapse. I need to commend Team Secret. They isolated Hasmet and actually got the kill onto Eddie. Eddie used his cleanse in this fight somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure where his cleanse went, because he stood there stunned for ages. Guri actually just smited him down. Nice. And then the drive-by ultimate just to push him back into his own team. But yeah, the real star of the show is Froggy, who's able to get away with some HP remaining and deals so much damage in this fight.
I think Kratos just gets a little bit too aggressive, thinking that maybe he can get a kill onto Guri. Elder Drake in less than 2 minutes time, and that most surely is going to be the final nail in the coffin for Team Secret. Secret, though, still do have their inhibitor tower in the mid lane up just barely. Saigon Buffalo continue to push forward with their Baron-empowered minions.
Really be an easy way home. This time around, they don't get outscaled as hard as they did against the Veigar composition from Cerberus earlier this week. It's also earlier in the game, and the gold lead, I think, is even bigger than that. They also have the Soul, so it's a much more comfortable situation for Saigon Buffalo. And even though they're struggling this season, they're still a good enough team to push these kind of advantages towards victory. So it's all about game number 3 now. It will come down to a best of 1. These 2 teams fighting against each other.
Finding an engage, knocked up is Kiang, forced to engage, then flashes away. Still alive, but Saigon Buffalo get the inhibitor tower, now looking for the inhibitor as well. Kiang is going to reset, get some health. And with an Elder in 40 seconds time, Saigon Buffalo are looking to secure all 3 inhibitors, and Team Secret are going to have to deal with 3 super minion waves and somehow try to contest the Elder.
Yeah, the Elder Dragon spawns early enough so that the super minion waves will not be in place yet, so Saigon Buffalo needs to be a little bit careful not to overpush their cards. where they might think, okay, we have 3 inhibitors down, there's no way for them to contest, but there's actually a slight timing window where the inhibitor waves will not hit the Nexus yet. Let's see. Team Secret kind of needs to just send it here.
They are going to send it, but there's just too many members of Saigon Buffalo. As in goes Taki, takes a fair bit of damage. Catherine Rain, though, won't kill him. Killer instinct into the backline from Eddie. Surely not. There's no way to outplay this. Eddie flashing back, but he just doesn't have the damage. Poor Eddie is just firing out auto after auto, but with no damage whatsoever. 4 members of Team Secret die, and all they have to show for their efforts is 1 dead Rakan. Kratos is on the run. Hasmed is on the chase, but Saigon Buffalo will be ending this game right. And now 1 tower shot comes through. Kratos still on the run, but Hasmed is quicker than the Cassante, and I'm sure we'll be seeing Kratos dropping any second now. There he goes.
There it is.
It's the ace for Saigon Buffalo, and it is game 3 in our second series of the day.